What is up, golf addicts? Welcome to the Players Championship 2025. And you will notice right off the bat, if you're watching us on YouTube TV, or not YouTube TV, whatever this, what is this? What is this, Matt? Is YouTube?
I have no clue. This is my first
whatever
time
this
ever doing
is,
a
you'll
live
notice
show.
that the DB's not even here. He's out sick. He's out sick. He could not do a Michael Jordan sick game for this one. He just could not do it. And so Matt and I just said, you know what? And this is what, an hour ago? We were like, F it. We'll go live.
Swing it. Fuck it.
We'll go live and let's do it. So
let's do it live.
It's going to be a little bit different type of show than we typically have, but we're excited because it's a huge week. It's the Players Championship. This is a big week. There's a lot of gambling that's going to go on this week. But let's start with Russell Henley, Matt.
Ooh.
Speaking of DB, I believe it was
DB.
last week.
A tough scene for DB right now.
I mean, I don't think Tony clipped it out, but producer Tony could have clipped it out where DB basically said he didn't think Russell Henley could win. And then he goes out and he wins last week. And he won in pretty magnificent form there with the Eagle. I believe that was on 16 where he made the Eagle there, Matt. And just a great week for Russell Henley. Big payday. The course was hard. It was difficult. And I don't know, you were there. So, let me get your thoughts on the week, just overall from beginning to end.
Yeah. So Thursday was brutal out there. The north wind, man, if we got that all 4 days, that thing would have looked a lot different. It died pretty much the rest of the week. I think the weatherman on Sunday predicted a little more wind than there was, but it's a weird week for me, Pat, because I'm following 2 guys basically for the whole day. So I don't get to see a lot of the tournament. I get to see, the 2 dudes I'm watching. Mm-hmm. But, I don't think you're going to see firmer greens all year than you do at Bay Hill. And that's kind of been the case year in and year out. And I think the players kind of like it a little bit. It's an interesting course. It's where do you take the risk? Do you take it off the tee or into the greens? I heard some people say Morikawa maybe played a little too safe coming in. Did you watch the end?
I was traveling yesterday, so I didn't get to watch all of the end. But I will say this: I did hear a lot, whether it was on social media. He even said he thought he, kind of was disappointed in himself, and it was going to sting, I believe, were his words. But has this become a thing for Morikawa too?
I don't know, man. It's a little weird to me. There was a point, when I was walking with the group I had yesterday, just looking at the leaderboard where he was 3 clear, and I'm looking at the pins on the back 9, and I'm like, they're perfect for him. I mean, he hits high fades. The hard ones were all tucked up and to the right. And the other ones were gettable. You didn't need to fade it or draw it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it really set up nicely for him to close the deal. And to be completely honest, I didn't get to see any of it, but it was pretty surprising for me that he did not get the job done.
Yeah, I thought for sure when it, just leading into the day that we were going to see Morikawa win. It was an interesting week too, because you saw, it's almost like you saw the whole leaderboard kind of flip on Saturday. Mm-hmm. You had guys like Shane Lowry up there. You had Wyndham Clark, who was on my card, and so I was a little disappointed in that. Lowry was on DB's card. And then it all just kind of flipped on Saturday, and I thought it was Kawa's, and then Henley. He was there. We knew he was there. We just didn't realize what was going to happen there. It wasn't like he shot 2 under Sunday, but he hung in there and was aggressive when he needed to be, and came out the winner.
It always feels like Sunday on a course like that, like the plays like that, less is more. Sometimes you just let it come to you, and if it does, great. And that's kind of the feel I got from Russ. Birdie on 15 was huge, or 14. I'm sorry, the par 3 though from Russell was huge. I did get to see that one.
Yeah. Well, we always like when the Bulldogs win, right, Matt?
Yeah.
I know you're a big fan of it.
Hey, speaking of that, I had Sepp one day, and I was just, there's plenty of time out there to talk to those guys, and we were chatting about Carson Beck, and I was like, were you happy to see him go? And he goes, to be honest, there were times where I wish he played for the Gators so I could hate him. Go ahead and fully hate him.
Well, he almost went there, I believe, but I don't know.
Florida?
I thought he was.
Valdosta's a lot closer. Who are you talking about? Carson Beck?
Yeah, Carson Beck.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Sepp. Well, it's Carson Beck's mother is my daughter's 4th grade teacher at her school.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, so
I don't know. Either way, it's
he's perfect for Miami, right?
Yeah, he is. He is.
Yeah.
Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's about enough for the API. I mean, I don't know.
Let's move on.
It's time for the players. But first, by the way, I'm going to be doing a lot of these ad reads, and I never do the ad reads, so I don't even know if I'm going to do any of these right, but I'm still going to do it because SoBet is a huge sponsor of ours, and we love SoBet. So if you can use the code TJ, you get the first month for $1 for SoBet. You need to check it out. Listen, tons of handicappers in there. DB's doing fantastic on SoBet. So if he's on the show, he would be there just patting himself on the back right now, kissing his brain, doing all the things that he likes to talk about. I don't really know what how well he's doing, but SoBet has some great handicappers. You know what? We're getting close here to one of the best times of the year, which is when March Madness starts.
Ooh, baby.
So we've got March Madness coming up. Speaking of the Gators, they look pretty good heading into that. But there's a lot of gambling for that. There's a lot of gambling for the players this week. So you need to go on to SoBet, use our code TJ, get yourself locked in for our boys over there at CBet. CBet. Why did I say CBet, Matt? You know what?
CBez, were you thinking of Christian Bazane?
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the players this week. How many players did you play in, Matt?
I don't know. 5 to 7, maybe.
What is when I say the word Sawgrass?
Yeah.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
I mean, like toe hookers golf course, like a little dink hook.
I thought you were going to say club throw. I really wanted to hear club throw because I just feel like it's a course where there's a lot of club throw. I mean, we saw Keith Mitchell do that a couple years ago, or at least
Charlie Hoffman's got a good one there on 13. He threw his putter in there. I've got a bunch probably in there just from living here. My early years in Jacksonville, I used to play some money games out there with like Bubba Dickerson and Garrett Willis and some guys who like to get after it, and my attitude was dog shit. There's probably some putters on the left of 18, but never in the tournament. Yeah.
Bubba Dickerson. That is a name from the past for me because I do remember those days.
Bubba's the man.
Well, I mean, this course is fantastic. It's always in great shape. It's going to be in great shape this week. I think the weather's going to be perfect. We're getting a lot of rain here today, but it's going to be great for the rest of the week. Maybe a little bit of rain Sunday. I haven't looked at the weekend, but I think they're going to have it in great shape. It always plays difficult. One thing that I've kind of noticed over the years, Matt, is when we're kind of handicapping this event, I always feel like you can look at course history, but it just feels like one of those courses where people can play like dog shit one year and then they're fantastic the next year. So why is that on a course like this? It just doesn't feel like anybody ever gets truly comfortable out here.
Yeah, I just think this course tests your current form more than anything. It's hard to, I don't know. See, I'm so confused right now with like course history and how much I should factor it into things. I mean, I just think this place, it doesn't, I mean, this gets beat to death every year, but it doesn't really favor a certain type of player, right? Like, it handcuffs you off the tee. If you're super long, you can't really hit driver on in certain places. And but it is very important to be in the fairway. And then it's also a bit of a second shot golf course. There's some tough pin. These greens they're dissected into different parts, and there's just trouble around the corner. I would lean towards form more than anything right now, than course history here. But I don't know, dude. Your guess is as good as mine on this.
Yeah. Well, listen, Matt, I've been doing this over 10 years. I'm just going to tell you right now that course history is a thing.
It is.
So I just want you to know that. Now,
I kind of believe in it, but here, like if a guy's playing terrible coming into this week and he had an 8th here last year, how much does that really matter if he's playing like dog shit?
Well, that's true. I mean, that's true. I get it. Like, listen.
I just don't think you can run around this place 4 days in a row, especially if there's any kind of a 10-mile-an-hour breeze or more. Like, you're just going to get – something's going to show up in 4 days.
Yeah, no, I get that, especially on a course like this. And I think you're right. I mean, I think course history is something we do tend to look at week in and week out. I probably look at it more than most folks, but this is definitely one of those weeks where you just don't look at it quite as much. Now, in about a month's time, when we get to Augusta National, I do think it's probably one of the biggest factors when it comes to playing there. But for whatever reason that is, I don't know. But I think this week is going to be interesting, and there's a lot of players that are in some pretty good form, and we'll get into some bets in a little bit. We'll talk, kind of our top 20 locks. We'll talk our outrights. But like I said, we're just kind of winging this whole thing, so we're going to kind of take it in whatever direction we want. So I'll start with this. Speaking of players, and I just wanted to bring this up because you talked about it a little bit before we kind of started, but Ludwig is one of those guys that I think going into this, last year he played great. I think he finished top 10, something like that here last year. This year, he's been a little bit off. I think he's obviously won a golf tournament. So he was 8th last year, but he won a few weeks ago at Genesis. Finished T22 last week. I think I don't know. The ball striking hasn't been great. I mean, you look at Bet the Number.
DB can't do a podcast because he's sick. Ludwig, you want Ludwig to go out and be a world beater when he's sick? I mean,
well, that's true.
I'm going to give him a pass for the bad rounds on the West Coast. And I don't know where are you going with this? Go ahead.
Well, I want to hear what your thoughts are on Ludwig, because he's one of those players at the top of the board. I mean, you've got look, we can start we can go through all the ranges here.
Let's start at the top real quick. Let's just rip the top 5, because obviously the first couple aren't really touchable, right?
Yeah. So the top, here's what we got. You got Scotty Scheffler's a favorite. Rory is the second favorite. He's anywhere around 10-1. So he started 8-1, but it's gone up a little bit. Then you got Colin at 12-1 on I'm running out DK numbers right now.
Yeah.
Which I don't really like that at all. But then you get to Ludwig, who's anywhere from 16 to 18-1, and then JT. I'm buying on Ludwig right now. And I'll tell you why. I had his group the first day. Yeah. Played very tough. Dude, him and Scotty they were tee to green. They were both super impressive. They just didn't really get much going. But when I got done with them on Thursday, I remember picking Ludwig in something I did and not worrying one bit that he wasn't going to be a factor on Sunday. I'm not worried about his golf game. He had something going on last week personally, and I think it just got announced in the news where his agent left. Yeah.
And I don't know, that could play rattle a younger guy a little bit. I mean, how old is he? He's still pretty young, and you're getting used to real world things and business stuff. But as far as his golf game, I think this place is right up his alley, TPC. I mean, I know he can't sit up there and unleash his driver on every hole, but the rest of the stuff seems pretty good to me.
Yeah, no, I listen, I like Ludwig, and I am going to kind of take this a little different direction than we typically go, just because DB's not on here. So I do want to kind of get into each sort of range here a little bit, as opposed to just kind of firing off the bets. But before we go any further, I do think I got to remember, because DB always forgets, we got to do the season-long bet. And listen, DB picked up. Speaking of DB, he picked up some ground last week. He had Decky and Straka, who just continues. I mean, Sepp just continues to light it up every week. So he got almost $1 million last week. It was a signature event, so the payouts are much higher. Matt, you had the worst week.
God damn it.
All of us. You had Ludwig. Speaking of Ludwig, and you had Billy Horschel, who missed the cut.
Clean it up, Billy.
Really failed for you.
I'm out on Billy for a little bit.
Yeah, I think I am too. Definitely not going to look at him this week. But so here are the standings. DB has now taken the lead. He is at 2,589,000. I'm right behind him at 2,557,000. So just about 30,000 or so behind. And then producer Tony bringing up the rear, 1,055,000, and you're at 1.3 basically. So that's where we are. DB is starting this week, and so he's going to start with Scotty. And I think that I haven't even looked at what he said. Did he say Scotty? Tony?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Okay. Well, I knew he was going to start with Scotty. So We'll give that to DB, and then we're in order here on the sheet, right? So then it's Tony, Matt, and me, right?
Correct.
All right, Tony, who do you got?
All right. I had Rory last week, best week that I've had by far yet. So I'm going back to the well. I'm going Rory, past winner here at TPC. So hopefully he can bring it home for me again.
Okay.
I'm going Ludwig.
All right. Well, now I don't know what to do. I keep believing in this guy, and I'm just going to do it again. I'm going with JT. I'm going to go with Justin Thomas. All right, it's me again. 150 to 1 and longer, right? I'll tell you who I'm going to go with. I think, unless he shortened up a little bit. No, he's at 150 to 1. I'm going with Joel Damon. Joel's been playing better. He's been playing better. I like him this week. All right, it's you, Matt.
Yeah. Son of a bitch. Oh, man. Give me Austin Eckroat.
Okay. All right.
170 to 1.
I like that. All right, Tony.
I'm gonna snake one of DB's picks here, even though he's sick and probably crapping his brains out right now. I'm gonna go Nikolai Horgaard.
Ooh, okay.
170 to 1.
Is DB? Are you just gonna let him know, or is he maybe during the show he'll?
He threw 2 picks in there, so he's got Jake Knapp coming back.
All right, Jake Knapp. Okay, fine, whatever. All right, so that's the season-long bet, and we'll see how that goes. But DB did take the lead, and it's a big week. There's a lot of money this week, Matt.
Oh yeah. Hey, did anybody hit Phillips in Puerto Rico?
You know, I saw some folks in the Discord.
What did he go off at?
I'd have to check.
Like
it had to have been like
60.
Yeah,
more.
it had to be somewhere in there.
Yeah,
I could look it up in the Discord, but I'm not really sure. But by the way, speaking of our Discord, Matt, I know you get in there and you put your picks in your channel, but it's been a good year in the Discord.
Hell
now,
yeah.
maybe not in your channel, Matt.
It's all right. I mean, it hasn't.
But look, I'm seeing a lot of winners in there, and I don't know why folks don't even at least get in there and try it. I mean, it's $10 a month. It's $99 for the year. A lot of information exchanging hands. This week, even more information. I really should have probably hit this at the very beginning, but Matt and I are both going to be there. We're going to be there together. We're going to be there apart. We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff. But I get there tomorrow on Tuesday. I'm going to be walking the course all day. Hopefully, I'll get to walk with some players. We'll see what happens. We seem to do that every year. Matt's going to be out there. We might even play a little golf together. So, look, a lot of our intel comes into the Discord channel. So make sure you go into the Tour Junkies Discord. You can go to tourjunkies.com. It's right there at the very top. Get in our Discord, $10 a month, $99 a year. It's a lot of good information. And then Matt and I both will be putting in our picks later in the week. And we have the Wednesday night live chat. Matt, I'm not going to make you do that. You don't do that with me every week. But
if I can do it this week, I will. If you want me,
maybe this week we can do it together.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we could.
So we'll see what we can make happen. But yeah, it's a good week for that because we will be on the grounds at Sawgrass. All right, Matt. Before we talk about the next range, do you have any funny stories from when you played in this golf tournament? Did you play it well?
I think my best finish was probably like 30 some. I one year I was working with Scott Hamilton. I remember the year I striped it, like ball striking. I was way up there and didn't make a thing. And I think that was my best finish. It was like 30. It was either like between 25th and 37th, somewhere in there. So I did not play it well. Far too aggressive to play this and far too wild off the tee to play that place well.
Yeah. So that'll kind of go into a little bit more. Like if you were to pick, the two, like your two or three favorite stats that you would look at on this course, that can really translate every year. Not like one that might be better one year when the wind is heavy or whatever? Like what would be your top 3, you think? Or 2?
Driving accuracy would be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think like, I don't know, man. Accuracy, and I just think you need to be in good form, like more than anything. Your stuff just needs to be like all those guys. Like, and it never sucks to be a good iron player. I don't care what distance. It's just I want someone that's good through the bag here.
Yeah,
and then if you're in great form, like hell yeah.
Is like the greens here? I mean, they're obviously pure. I mean, is there anything like real tricky about them, or are they just
I mean, there's some I used to call them trick reads when I'd play out there a little bit, certain greens, certain spots fool you. And I'm sure guys throughout the years, they'll write stuff down like that. Like, hey, I've missed this putt to the left the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Maybe don't play as much, but that place is like, it's so well manicured right now, Pat. Though it's just a sea of green. I mean, it's been overseeded and closed for 2 months. It's made to appeal to the eye for TV, and we got a lot of rain yesterday. We got a lot of rain this morning, so it'll be interesting. It was pretty dry here before that. I don't know, what it's been like up in Savannah, but it's been pretty dry. The humidity's been down. And the wind's been up, so we did get a ton of rain. I mean, the roads here are like filled with puddles right now, and the ditches are all full. But I think throughout the week right now, we're gonna have great weather, low 70s, humidity still relatively down for this time of year, and winds up, especially on the weekend. So, I mean, I'm telling you, you just can't run around this place if you don't have it like for 4 days. It's not gonna work out. I want a guy that's mentally tough and can deliver in the moment, but also a guy that like is a nice golfer.
Yeah. No, I think I agree, and I think I think we're going to see that this week when it comes to the winner.
Mm-hmm.
So going up top, when you look at these guys, I know we both mentioned Ludwig. Anybody else like kind of up to 30-1? In that range that you really like?
Fleetwood, does he do anything for you here? Yeah. Especially if the wind starts to blow a little bit.
The question about Fleetwood is always like, is it ever going to happen? Are we ever going to get the win? But this seems like a place where he could do it for sure. I mean, I know that the narrative with him is he's not going to win, or he doesn't, he can't win out here. But look, I mean, the guy has won plenty of places worldwide. When you think about somebody who's not going to make a whole lot of mistakes, great ball striker, Fleetwood is 28-1 on DK. I've seen him a little bit, and actually he's 30-1 on FanDuel. I don't mind it. I think when you look at somebody like Fleetwood, I'm probably more confident in the top 20. Mm-hmm. But when you're looking at the outrights here, I mean,
but like outrights, I mean, I know you did you pick JT?
Yes, he is one that we already talked about Ludwig, who was one.
Xander's too. Need to see more.
Yeah.
Can Russell Henley do it back to back? This is a perfect course for him, isn't it?
It really is. I don't think I would not be opposed to betting him outright again.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about the form thing. I mean, he's there. He almost could have won Honda,
and he's a little different too, like mentally. That cat. I mean, he's in his own world, man. That guy, like,
he really is.
Just always. I mean, he's a sweetheart, but like he'll walk right past you and not even blink or anything. I mean,
I picked up on that. I did in the fall. I hosted a panel.
Yeah.
And he was our main speaker or main person, and I was up there on the panel. I was the host, and
dude,
Henley
he's awesome. Yeah.
Yes. Told some great stories. He was fun to be around. But you're right.
He's super locked in, it feels like, all the time.
Absolutely. And he played a lot with Scotty in the President's Cup, and they did great. As a matter of fact, I think they were down in one of their matches, and thanks to how well Russell Henley played, they ended up winning. But Yeah, I agree, and I think he's definitely a guy that I could see, winning back to back just with the way his form is and all that. So I'm definitely with you there. I'm totally out on Xander though. I just don't think I can get there
Same.
yet. And then you got the next range, which is where you see a lot of guys in here. So like if you're looking up to maybe like 60 or 70 to 1,
Yeah.
who are your
Okay.
favorites in here?
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
I like when I initially went through this list, I just looked for like I was like, what's going to separate it for me? I want a guy in good form, and then like what's going to be that one extra thing? And I know like Scotty likes to play fate. Scotty's on a different planet, you know, if we're looking in past results, but I really like a guy that draws the golf ball here. I just do. I've always felt that I faded it for the most of my career, pretty much all of it. And I don't think this place suits a fader at all. I like Sepp Straka here in this range. I like Siwoo Kim this week a little bit. And I was chatting with Manny, his caddy, last week after the first round. Whoever's group I was following Scotty and Ludwig the first round, and I think Siwoo was playing in the group in front, so I got to watch a little bit. And Siwoo on 6 on the first round rinsed one, okay, and they're walking up there, and like they didn't know it was in the water. It went in the rocks. They couldn't see it, and it was real windy, and like the lake was white capping, so it was hard to see. Period. You know, they thought it could have been over the green. Get up there, they can't find it, so they got to walk back. And Manny's like, initially I'm thinking, like this could be the end of the tournament for Siwoo. And
Yeah.
I was chatting with Manny after the round, and I go, dude, nice playing today. Like after that on 6, and he goes, I know. He goes, we were walking back to the tee. I'm like, here we go. Like this could be it. And he goes, he started laughing on the way back, and he goes, I knew he was going to be okay. And he's in a good mood right now. He's going to a place that he likes. You know, he's got, talk about course history. I mean, last week it was okay week last week. I mean, 19th. I mean, dude, that's, it's not terrible.
Yeah.
I don't hate Siwoo here either. Jason Day does something for me here as well.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like I've been on Jason Day all year. I mean, as a matter of fact, let me pat myself on the back a little bit. I had him as a top 10 last week at the API. He got in there, even though he tried to screw it up a little bit on the back nine on Sunday, but he was plus 550 as a top 10 last week. Jason Day's been playing great golf. So I like him a lot. By the way, I mean, if you're looking at, when you're looking at the numbers I'm seeing on Siwoo, he's at 55 to 1, and then Sepp is 50 to 1. I mean, just doesn't, as well as Sepp has been playing, he has stayed in that 50 to 60 to 1 range every single week. And so I still feel like we're getting a little bit of value there from Sepp. And I like the Siwoo call.
How far down did you say, like to 70 to 1?
About 70 to 1.
Okay, I also like Matt McNeely here.
Okay.
Ball flight, like same thing, like just middle range drawer of the golf ball. Great form. It's just great with the irons. Like it feels like he would be there.
Yeah, no, I get it there with him. By the way, quick shout out, because here are the numbers that you asked for. Our buddy Aaron White, 65 to 1 was what Phillips was. He hit him at 65 to 1. Sorry, let me put up this
nice
one.
Hit. I want everyone to win, dude. There's everyone should be winners.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'd like for myself to win every now and then too.
Well, me too. Adam Page, by the way, he put it up in the chat. He hit it 70 to 1.
Nice.
So a couple folks, in the Discord just hitting these winners. So
do you sprinkle something on him this week? Just like, I mean, the kid probably feels fucking invincible right now.
I mean, why not throw a top 20 on him? Probably still getting a good number. It's
got to be on cloud 9.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see if I can find his top 20, by the way, just while we're doing this.
I thought I saw his outright was way like
150 to 1 outright on DK, plus 450 as a top 20. I'll throw in, a little bit on the top 20 for him.
Yeah.
Just to hit that. A couple more I like in here. I still think, I think I'm going to go back to Shane Lowry. I just,
don't hate it. I talked to him after he was leading on Friday. I had to interview him, and he was saying he didn't feel comfortable with his driver yet, and he was searching all week last week. He had like 12 drivers on the range Tuesday, but he's like, my driving is shit. I don't understand. I don't feel great about it.
Mm-hmm.
This course, you don't. I mean, there are drivers. Yes, you have to hit some demanding drives, but it also you can gear down here too.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And just the way Shane's been playing, and he does get it around here pretty good. I mean, he's had top 20s 3 of the last 4 years here, but you're coming out. I mean, but then you got the form on top of it with the 11th at the Cognizant, 7th last week at the API. So I do think Shane makes a little bit of sense here at that 40-1 number. Couple more that I like. I mean, look, I know he's not exciting, but another guy in great form is Aaron Rye. I mean, Aaron Rye he feels like a robot out there on the golf course. Like his swing always looks the same.
Do you think because he wears 2 gloves, you just can't take him serious?
I think that's part of it. But
like for me,
my wallet can take that seriously,
right? Yeah,
I mean,
I hear you. I'm a massive fan of the human Aaron Rye. I probably should study up on his golf game a little more, but I'm looking at him right here. Yeah, I mean, decent form here. 2 made cuts.
Yeah, I just think, coming off the 4th in Mexico, 11th at the API. I mean, he just, to me, seems like a guy that you could see up there at the end and maybe ends up pulling out a victory. And we've seen that happen with this tournament. So,
yeah.
Aaron Wright, 60-1. I like that number. I get a lot of questions about, or actually, here's what it is. I question myself a lot about this guy, and that's Willie Z.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just living in the past a little bit, but his ball striking numbers have been actually pretty good. I know the putting's been terrible, but let me just pull up Willie Z real quick. I'm going to look at him here. I'm not going to share my screen because that's just too much for me to do here while we're going on here. But, when I look at Bet the Number, by the way, our friends at Bet the Number are fantastic. You got to check out Bet the Number. I know you've been using it, Matt. The stats on here are amazing. It's literally the only way I can prepare for this show, but also prepare my bets for the week. If you use code TJ, you get $5 off the month, $50 off the annual. But Bet the Number is fantastic. They've got a new matchup tool on there. They've got prop tools on there. So all the things you really need, actually the only thing you really need to try and nail down who your bets are going to be, whether it's matchups, props, all that kind of stuff, you got to use Bet the Number. So you code TJ there. But looking at Willie Z, last week at the API, he gained almost 8 strokes tee to green.
Jesus.
8 strokes, 7.9 ball striking. Off the tee, he was great. Almost 4 strokes gained off the tee. Over 4 strokes on approach. These are all the things that he always has done well for the most part. But then the last 2 weeks, he lost almost 3 strokes putting at the Genesis. And then he lost over 6 strokes putting last week at the API match.
That's weird. His short game coach was there all week. I saw him on Sunday. Josh Gregory. That's weird.
Oh, yeah. I know Josh. Yeah.
That's losing 6 on the greens, man. That'll drive you nuts.
It's not good, but the ball,
especially how good he's hitting it. That's why I mean, it's one thing if you're scraping it and losing 6 on the greens, but I mean, he's wasting quality golf right now.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah. And I don't think that there was the injury scare, but it doesn't seem like the injury is a thing for him at all, right?
Putting? No.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt your putting.
No, dude.
I mean,
yeah.
So I mean, I think that I don't know. I don't know if I can trust Willie Z to really go in and bet an outright on him, but it is one of those that I just tend to I question myself a little bit because I do
remember how freaking good he was before that he got hurt. I mean, he was it was every week, felt like.
I know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they just need to invent a new putter for him or something.
Let's keep it moving because I gotta bounce at like 7:20 to go pick up my kid.
Okay. All right. We'll keep it moving here.
All right. So let's go. What do you want to go? 75-1 to 150? Let's
just go 75 and on. Let's
75 and on. Okay. Let me tell you something. So Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday morning, I go out on the range at Bay Hill and I'm going to watch like Scotty and Ludwig warm up before I got to go watch them. And I see Sean Foley. And the second year I won Bay Hill with Sean Foley,
I
he
know
was
where
my
you're
coach.
going.
He was my coach, right?
I know where you're going with this.
The first thing he says to me, I haven't seen this guy all year. All right. First thing he says to me, how about my boy Michael Kim?
I knew
I'm
it.
like,
I knew that's where you were
are
going.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then boom, he has another good week this week. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Kim likes to draw the golf ball. I might touch him this week.
Yeah. I might touch him too, Matt.
I mean, 75-1 is a really good number on him right now. Don't you think so?
It's a fantastic number on it. Matter of fact, when I did the First Look show, which is another thing I do on Monday mornings in the Discord, he was 90-1, Matt.
Wow.
90-1. I actually fired in on it at 90-1 this morning. And look, a guy like Michael Kim, I just don't think what we've seen from Kim for right now is going away. I don't see how it just goes away when you've been playing this good. And it's not just this year, Matt. It's like in the fall, he was playing good too. If you really look back, he had a lot of good finishes in the fall.
Dude.
And then he's continuing it right now.
I mean, I'm looking at it. It's just because I know where this guy was at one point. You know what I mean?
Oh, he was totally lost.
And this is just, it's impressive as fuck is what it is.
Yeah, it is. And so I'm firing in on Kim. I'm totally with you on that. I just don't. I think you got to have a piece of him. You got to touch him, and you got to have a piece of him. We're sounding a little bit in love with Kim. But,
no.
I mean, it is what it is. But what about Denny McCarthy up here at 75-1?
Yeah.
I mean,
don't hate it. Kind of. If this thing turns into, a battle, I kind of like it. Denny's a guy. It feels like when he walks off the golf course, he doesn't say a lot. Man, I feel like I left 2 or 3 out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't mind that his the makeup of his game around this place at all.
Yeah. No. All right. Who else you got here up to 150-1, and then I'll give a couple names that I've got, and then we'll close.
Okay.
Out top 20s.
Yes, perfect. I'm gonna jump all the way to 110-1. Nick Taylor, a guy that can handle the moment here, 100%. Are you kidding me? And a guy that hits like a medium. He's not a bomber, but he draws the ball from right to left. He's a clutch putter. I mean, you're going to have to make some 8 to 10 footers this week, missing greens. And I don't hate him at all, especially if he's just, in the mix after 2 rounds. It's really all you need with a guy like him. You go next.
Well, I mean, you kind of took Nick Taylor from me, but I do like him a lot this week. I think I'm still liking Ben Griffin. I know Ben Griffin didn't play the greatest last week at the API, but I'm still a fan of Ben Griffin in his game.
I like that pick.
Yeah, he's at 90-1 on DK. I think you might be able to get that a little bit longer somewhere else. And then the last one that I'll probably go with is Alex Smalley. He's at 120-1. The Bet the Number model has him, by the way, in the top 30 on their model. Top 20s in his last 2 events. Another guy that doesn't have the greatest history here, but if we just take the history out and he's been playing well, I think Alex Smalley at 120-1 is also a pretty good bet. So he'd probably be about as far as I'd go, other than I mentioned Joel Damon earlier in the season long. I do like Joel Damon just the way he's playing, but I don't really see him winning outright, but I do like Damon.
I mean, can you believe we're living in a world where Tom Hoagie is 250-1?
I know.
Players. What the heck, man?
It's crazy.
I saw him hit 1 shot last week, and he teed off on 6 and just dead yanked it into the water.
Well, I mean, I don't know, but 250-1 seems a little bit odd or long for him. All right, let's do a couple top 20. All right, I want your top 20 locks.
All right.
And then if you got kind of a longer shot top 20, give me that one, and then
I'll go Fleetwood as a lock for one of my top 20s.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go short. I'm going to go short this week. I'm going to go Fleetwood, and I'm going to go Jason Day is my 2 locks plus 200. Who do you got?
All right. Well, you took one of mine. I had Jason Day because I had hit him last week. I'm just going to continue to bet him in the top 20. Plus 200. I like Jason Day. And then I had JT, Justin Thomas, at plus 110. So just over even money as a top 20 lock. Fleetwood, by the way, is plus 115. So he's right there next to JT. And then as my kind of long shot, I'm going to continue to go with my boy Joel Damon here at plus 500. 5-1 for a top 20 on Joel Damon. Anybody up there, like, you can go longer than 4-1 and longer?
I like Ryan. I like look, hasn't played here yet, but decent form coming into here, and I think this guy's a nice player. We've brought him up a little bit this year. Ryan Gerard, plus 500. I might take a peek there. Not official. Might take a peek.
Love it.
Nothing else. So is Eckroat maybe plus 450.
Yeah. Well, if you took him in the season long, I feel like you got to throw a little top 20 down on him too.
I probably will.
So, all right. Listen, I know it was kind of a crazy show, but we got it kind of thrown on us last minute that it was just going to be Matt and I. But I think we did all right, Matt. I know you got to run. You got to go pick up your son, but I'll see you down there tomorrow.
I can't wait, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a great week.
Thoughts and prayers to DB. Hope you're feeling better, buddy.
Yeah, we definitely want you to feel better. By the way, we didn't even get into really any of the DFS and the daily fantasy and the DraftKings talk. But you know what? Matt and I don't really talk about that when he's on during the week. So that's another reason to get into the Discord and check us out, because all our stuff, we'll have our ownership in there. We got all kinds of things in there. So make sure you're getting in there this week. And Matt, I'll see you tomorrow. And I hopefully get to have a cocktail too together.
Hell yeah.
We'll have to do that.
Great. We're gonna have a great week.
But all right, that's all I got this week. We'll see you next week. And we're getting close to the Masters. This is the best time of year. So that's all I got. Have a good week. Out.
Later.
All right.